Okay. So you might need to accept the recording there. Sorry. Okay. So knees stacked on top of one another, hands out in front. From there, take a big breath in. As you exhale, rotate up and over as far as you can. Now you get to a point where you sort of get a bit sticky, you can't go any further. Hold there for a moment, take another breath in. Exhale and relax a little further. And so as we turn the head and rotate through the upper back, we're moving cervical spine, thoracic spine, and then a little bit lumbar spine. Breath in. On the exhale, up and over. Exhale, up and over, rotating through the spine. Just keep doing that a couple more times, following your breath. Now I'm just gonna see if I can mute. Now, if you do need to ask a question, you'll need to unmute yourself if you have any questions. Otherwise, just keep following along. Breath in, exhale, up and over. Take your time, always using that breath. Okay, and let's do the same thing on the other side. So you might just roll over. Big breath in, on the exhale, up and over. You try and keep those knees stacked on top of one another to stabilize the pelvis a little, holding for that breath, up and over. If you find with this one that as you reach over, if you've got any shoulder pain when you reach over, you can also just grab under your rib cage and focus on pulling the shoulder blade back and down without extending the arm out. If you find you need a bit of sort of relief for any sort of shoulder tightness, but otherwise, if you can get the full extension, go for it. We'll just do one more breath in, big exhale, up and over. Hold for a breath and relax. Okay. Over onto your back. So continuing a little bit of work through the spine, we're going to just do a little bit more rotation, but moving in different directions at different parts of the spine. So I bring my elbows up in front of the chest, bring my feet together. The first thing we're going to do is you turn your head to the left and take your elbows over the same side, but let your knees drop to the right. So your upper body is going left, lower body is going right. Then as you exhale, come back to the middle. And let's inhale, go the other way. Upper body to the right, lower body to the left. Exhale, back to the middle. And again. And just keep working, back to the middle and across. Just getting, once again, a little movement through the spine. You know, although we like to keep it nice and stable, the spine is very robust. It's designed to move in all sorts of angles, ranges, under load, impact work. So it's designed to go through a lot of movement, but we just need to keep it nice and mobile, get the sort of blood flow through the joints, through the body, improve the relationship between the body and the brain. And back to the middle. Now there is a variation of this where you can also go a sort of twist in the middle. So what we can do is you can take our elbows to the right and then head and knees to the left. And so you kind of make a little twist in the middle there and then come back and then go head and legs to the right, elbows to the left. And see if you can come back in. Sometimes it can be a little confusing. Back to the middle. And back to the middle. Okay, this time. Hands down by your side. Now, all I want you to focus on here is as we lie in this position here, feet flat, knees bent, I should have a little bit of what's called a lordotic curve on the lower back. There should be a little space between my lower back and the floor. That's the natural sort of curvature of the spine. And what we're going to try and do is just get some movement into that area, and I do that by tilting the pelvis. So, you've got your pelvis here, sitting here, the bony parts of the pelvis, the ASIS sitting there. Now, what we're going to do is on the exhale, we're going to tilt the pelvis and draw our sort of pubic bone up towards us. And on the inhale, we'll tilt it away. So we imagine the pelvis, it's going towards us and away from us, towards us and away from us. So let's take a breath in. And then as you exhale, just tilt your pelvis towards you. You feel your lower back flatten towards the floor. As you breathe in, tilt it the other way. We increase that space between the lower back and the floor. And then exhale, tilt it back towards you. And then inhale, tilt away. And what we're doing as we do this, just keep working, is we're also just moving the pelvis around the head of the femur. So the femur, the thigh bone comes into the pelvis, and the pelvis is just tilting around it at the end there. Inhale as you go out. Exhale, tilting back in. Once again, following that breath. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, now legs out straight. And this time we keep the pelvis still, and we're going to rotate, we're going to move the feet so this way, in and out, or in together, out together. And we're just rotating the heads of the femurs inside the pelvis. So turn your toes out and turn them in. Turn your toes out and turn them in. And now you can go both toes, both sets to the right, both to the left, kind of like windscreen wipers, out to the side, out to the side. Maintain breathing. Okay, very good. Now, moving into some specific work for the hips and legs. Bring your feet back on the mat flat, knees bent again. Now, taking your left leg, or you bring your left ankle onto your right knee. So left ankle onto right knee. In that position, you'll feel a bit of a stretch through the glutes there. What do we do? Without using your hand, just actively take the knee out and back in. So a little bit of active movement. In and out, slow breathing. And then we'll put the hand on the knee, and I want you to push away and feel that stretch. Find a position where you feel a bit of tension building, a bit of a stretch, and take a couple of big deep breaths. Okay, and then once again, in and out, in and out. Okay, and then hand on the knee, push away into a stretch. Okay, from there, so keeping that left knee and left ankle up, we're going to slide that left leg over the top of the right a little, so it goes a little further over. Then I grab on top of my left knee, and I'm going to bring both my right leg and left leg up towards my chest and lower back down. And as I pull up, I feel that stretch down into the glute, a little bit in the lower back there, up and down. Okay, very good. Let's come down. We'll do the same sequence on the other side. So right ankle on top of left knee. You might find that as you do that, you've got different tightnesses on different sides. That's normal. We're usually a little imbalanced. Let's start taking that knee out and back in, out and in. Big deep breaths as you go. Okay, then hand on the knee, push away into a stretch. And then again, in and out. Okay, once again, stretch and push away, hold, big deep breaths. Okay, and then sliding that right leg over the top of the left a little, grabbing the top of the right knee if you can, and lifting up, pulling towards your chest and coming back down. Lift up, pull towards the chest and come back down. Okay, nice work. Feet down. This time, I'm going to interlock my fingers around the back of my left thigh. So I want to interlock your fingers around the back of your left thigh if you can. And we're just going to start to lengthen out and see if we can kick the heel up to the ceiling and then bend again. And you want to feel that stretch behind the leg. Now, if you can't get the leg straight, that's fine. But just find a position, even if you're down here and doing that, that's fine. But just trying to get a little bit of length out, trying to lock out the knee briefly and come back. And we just feel that stretch behind the leg. We contract the quads just to take the tension out of the hamstrings. It's a process called reciprocal inhibition. It means if one sort of the agonist is working, then the antagonist can't. And we get a bit of release there. Contract and bend, contract and bend. Bring this one down, change side. In and out. Just do what you can. Okay, last couple. Bring your legs down straight. When you bring your left knee up towards your chest, bring it up as high as you can. And without rolling the body, so without allowing the other side of my hips to come up off the floor, I'm going to take that leg out to the side and bring it back in. We're just going to take it out through that sort of full range of hip flexion. So you're kind of just guiding it around the edge of the sort of joint surface there around the pelvis. Out and in, out and in. Okay, and then from there with the same leg, I'm going to hold that left leg with my right hand, left hand out to the side, and I'm going to just guide it over and across my body to the right hand side as far as I can. Now, once I get to that point of restriction where I can't go any further, I take a big breath in, and on the exhale, I'll just fall a little further into it. Take another breath in. Exhale a little further. One more time. And each time you get that big exhale, you just feel the body release a little. Okay, come back over. Last one, same thing on this side. Bring the knee up to the chest. And then from there, we roll it out to the side and roll back in. Roll out to the side and roll back in. Couple more, out and in. Now you got that right knee, you take the left hand on top of the knee, right hand goes out to the side, roll over and across the body. Once you get as far as you can, take a big breath. Exhale a little further. Big breath. Exhale a little further. And again. Okay, and come back. Okay, now we got, so it is also, so that's mobility work, moving the joints, understanding and just getting a bit of body awareness around different areas of the body and moving them through their full range. But we also are going to do a little bit of mindfulness work. Now, I think for a lot of people, when they hear the word mindfulness, you think of, someone sitting on a mountaintop, like in this position, complete Zen. But it's not, it's not all about that. There's an element of that. It is really just about taking some time to be present and just, appreciate where you're at that moment in time. And I think, I'm doing this partly for you guys, but also very much for myself, because I know that when I do practice a bit of mindfulness and just take some time to focus on breathing and be here, that it is really good for my mental health, but also the research is clear and compelling in terms of the impact of mindfulness and slow breathing and stuff on things like, cortisol levels, stress, cardiovascular health, inflammation. There's so many benefits to just taking some time to slow down and focus on not just your breathing, but just to try and reduce the amount of thoughts buzzing around in our brain. So all we're going to do today is just to introduce that concept. Is you can lie down and close your eyes if you like, but we're just going to focus on our breathing, and I'll guide you through a little bit, but then we'll take periods of about 60 seconds at a time where I just want you to focus on breathing. I won't be talking, and we're just going to see if we can keep our thoughts on our breath and on our body. And when you do hear, or when you do feel like there's a thought coming through and you lose your train of thought, and all of a sudden you're thinking about, oh my God, I've got to go to the tip today. I've got to, do a bit of gardening. How am I going to winterize the pool? All these sort of things start coming into your brain. Let them go. So capture that thought and just visualize like a train coming by, taking that thought away, or floating around a cloud, and bring your attention back to your breathing. That's all we're going to do. So I'll guide you through to begin with, and we'll only take, sort of 5 minutes or so of this. So you can either lie down or sit up. Whether you want to close your eyes is up to you. I like to have my legs out, but if you find legs straight, you're arching the back a little bit, whatever position is comfortable for you, maybe one knee, however you're comfortable. Now, to begin with, just bring your attention to your breath. So I want you to focus on breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. I don't want you to try and shorten or lengthen your breath, but just draw your attention to your breathing. And we see if we can start to get the sort of mechanical ventilation work, or the sort of pumping of the breathing taking place down around the abdomen rather than up around the chest. So when you inhale, we want to feel the tummy rising and falling rather than the chest. So we shouldn't be tightening up here, just relax. And so for the next minute, I just want you to focus on your own breath. Don't lengthen, don't shorten, but just sort of count them as you go through. And just remembering that if there's thoughts come into your mind, just let them pass. Just acknowledge them and let it pass, and draw your attention back to your breathing. There's no, there's no such thing as being successful at this or not successful. however you're situated and however you're doing it is the best way to do it. There's no right or wrong. So now we're just going to lengthen out, particularly the exhale. So what I want you to do is try and maybe count 3 or 4 second inhale through the nose. As you breathe out, to slow your exhale, you can visualize breathing out through a straw. You sort of purse your lips a little bit and really slow down that exhale. So let's just try that for a few breaths. In, and then slow exhale. In and out. Now, the reason we lengthen out that exhale is because breath holds, and when we are exhaling, that's when we are stimulating what's called the vagus nerve. That's the vagus nerve, which also stimulates our parasympathetic nervous system, which is the one that slows us down. When we inhale, that's the sympathetic nervous system, the thing that speeds us up, and then slowing down. So we want to get more sort of parasympathetic activation and less sympathetic activation. So we lengthen out that exhale. So what I'd like you to do now for the next minute or so is just see if you can count through your breath. So you go inhale, 2, 3, and then exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just maybe go for a 3 or a 5 count just by yourself. Okay. Nice work, everybody. Now, that's all we're going to do. We're going to keep these mobility and mindfulness sessions and the balance ones pretty short for the time being. They're just little touch points. It's a nice little way to start the day, nice way to sort of start the week, an opportunity just to deload, not think about anything else, you know, and focus on a bit of body awareness and sort of self-care. So I'll hopefully see you again on Wednesday at the balance session. And we'll do this again next Sunday morning. Hopefully get more and more, and you know, by the end of it, you'll be levitating out of there. So any questions, you can take yourself off mute and ask me any questions. Otherwise, we'll leave it there. You guys good? I can't. Oh, you're on mute there, John. Are you guys good? Oh, well, look, believe it. Thanks, man. I got a couple of friends maybe interested, so I wanted to check it out. Okay, thanks, Kate. Good on you. If I don't see some of you in the gym, I'll see you online again soon. Stay on the school site. They'll post things each day, different bits of research about exercise and different videos and things. So stay tuned. Have a nice Sunday. See you guys. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.